Good afternoon and welcome to the JoyNews room. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Akumbag in Accra. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Winston Taki. Coming up in this bulletin, we share the inspiring stories of 10 everyday Ghanaians driving real change in their communities with an army veteran who returned from home to fight poverty through after-school education, being crowned overall winner at the 2025 JoyNews Impact Makers Awards held over the weekend.
We need a platform to project our work, so it feels good to be awarded the best impact maker in Ghana. It's a huge success. Fali Girls team has been selected to represent Ghana and the whole of West Africa in the next upcoming Street Child World Cup in Mexico.
Also coming up, the Africa Development Council has condemned reported state-led violence during the unrest in Lomé, Togo, and is calling for urgent intervention by the UN, AU, and the ECOWAS. Also, Asante Bimo's non-completion of 18-year-old stored UNC Teaching Hospital project, and that and more.
We'll talk about my teaching hospital. My next teaching hospital is still not finished, even though there has been tremendous progress.
We have more details after this. My name is Winston Taki. Stay tuned. And out of our story, the Naib Amir of Ahmadiya Muslim Mission in Ghana, Alhaji Abdul Wahab, has criticized the government for failing to tackle illegal mining, which he says has devastated the country's water bodies and forest reserves. Speaking at the 58th Annual Upper West Regional Conference of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Wa, he accused successive governments of paying lip service to the fight against Galamsey. Alhaji Wahab called for the deployment of brutal military force to flush out illegal miners and save Ghana's natural resources. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Conferences and conventions are integral part to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community founded by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmed of Qadian. The most prominent of these is the Jalsa Salana, the annual gathering, which is the cornerstone of the community. As a sequel to the annual Jalsa Salana, various conferences and conventions are being held in the various Ahmadiyya communities and countries, starting from the circuits to the zonal, regional, and national conferences. It also has conferences for its various offshoot organizations, namely Majlis Huda Mulaya for the youth who are under 40 years, Lajna Imaila, which is for the women who are 15 years and above, and Majlis Ansarullah for the males who are above 40 years. The Upper Regional Conference of the movement held at the Wajujuri Garden is in line with those established conferences. Naib Amir of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana, Alhaji Abdul Wahab Isa, expressed worry over the wanton destruction of river bodies and forests as a result of illegal mining. He noted that governments over the years have been paying lip service to the fight against illegal mining.
Scientists have told us that if Galamsey does not stop in Ghana, in a few years, you will drink water from the land of Ghana and you will die. Crops will be grown on the land of Ghana. You harvest, cook and eat it, and you are in the hospital struggling for your life if Galamsey does not stop. This has been communicated over and over to every government in this country, and every government has practically totally refused to stop Galamsey. I'm telling you on authority, it's a fact. All our governments, ever since Galamsey started in Ghana, have all refused to stop Galamsey.
He urged the government to deploy military personnel to Galamsey sites to help fight the menace.
Let's talk to the youth, let's talk to the chiefs, let's talk to this, let's talk to that. It will not work. The chiefs there in the Galamsey sites, some are there, they've never seen their own 10,000 cedis. A Galamsey kingpin will go and throw 1 million cedis on his lap. You go there, you think he will listen to you? He will not listen to you. So the only way is to force it down their throat. Unleash the military, go there, fight them, and save the country.
Our Power Soldier Minister Charles Wonga Pozun Esquire noted that the theme of the conference, religious extremism, a threat to global peace and nation building, is not only relevant but urgent as the world confronts the rising tides of intolerance, radicalization in various parts of the world, including the West African sub-region.
In our part of the world, violent extremism is no longer a distant fear. The Sahel region is increasingly becoming a hotbed of instability, with armed groups manipulating religion to recruit, radicalize, and execute terror. We cannot afford to be complacent. Ghana and the Upper West region in particular must remain vigilant in insulating our youth from such ideological contagion. What is most dangerous about religious extremism is not only the violence it births, but the silence it cultivates. When good people refuse to speak up, when communities grow suspicious of one another, and when fear takes place of faith.
Charles Wonga Pozun considered that the antidote to religious extremism is not only security operations and intelligence, but religious tolerance, calling for the preservation of the country's long-standing culture of peaceful religious coexistence, which should serve as a model for other nations. The minister then waded into the increasing cases of illicit drug abuse in the region, which he described as one of the silent destroyers of the youth.
Tramadol, cannabis, codeine-laced cough syrups, and newer synthetic drugs are tearing apart families and sapping our future human resource. But again, religion has a critical role to play. Many religious bodies, including the Ahmadiya mission, have initiated sensitization campaigns, counseling service, and even rehabilitation support for affected youth. Faith-based mentorship programs, moral education, and community support systems have proven effective in redirecting vulnerable young people away from drugs, crime, and radicalization. We must scale these interventions, strengthen interfaith collaborations, and ensure that no young person is left behind.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Still staying on the Galamsey story, a Forestry Commission Rapid Response team has narrowly escaped death after being ambushed by over 20 armed illegal miners in the Jimira Forest Reserve. The team, on a routine patrol today, June 28, received intel that miners had invaded the compartment that is 34 of the Bentiko Pachi section, but as they approached the area, they were met with gunfire from armed men hiding in nearby vegetation. One officer was attacked with a machete and a commission vehicle was damaged. The rest of the team managed to retreat safely. Our man on the grounds, Erastus Cesare Donko, joins us on Zoom for more details. Hello, Erastus. What led to this particular happening, and which area were you headed towards for which you witnessed this unfortunate incident? Erastus, can you unmute?
Repeat your question?
Yes. Can you tell us what actually happened on the grounds and which area were you heading before this unfortunate attack came at you and the police who were actually on this mission?
Well, not me specifically, but this was a team of rapid response of the Forestry Commission who were embarking on their normal routine in protecting sections of the Jimira and Jimira extension reserves of the forest. And this is in an area, a community called Betinko, close to the Nkawie district. That is where they were doing their normal patrols. And upon reaching that section, they found out that about 20 illegal miners have laid siege in that area, and they asked them to stop. When they stopped, they started firing warning shots indiscriminately, and some of the bullets hit their vehicle. And fortunately for them, nobody was hurt, but their driver was serially hit with the butt of a machete many times, and he's the one who sustained a few injuries. And so they had no option than to retreat and allow the illegal miners to take over. So that is what happened at Betinko. It's a town close to Nkawie in the Ashanti region, where we have the Jimira forest reserves. If you have realized, we have been talking about the Jimira and Jimira extension forest reserves, indicating that we still have habitation in there by illegal miners who are armed. This is the same area, the same forest, but the Apemkro section, if you remember, 2 months ago, one of the forest guards was slashed in the knee with a machete by illegal miners in that area. So it has become a no-go area, even for the rapid response team of the Forestry Commission.
Have there been any arrests so far from the incident?
No, I would say immediately there has not been any arrest. They have filed a formal complaint with the Nkawie police. They are still expecting the police to take action. Meanwhile, the illegal miners have still laid siege. In fact, about 20 of them are fully armed who have taken siege of the forest and are still mining.
I see one that recently happened at the Tatam, that is a community in Adanse, also Quad District in the Ashanti region, where about 10 football fields like land have been destroyed by the Galamsey. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, the police, the Ghana Police Service, conducted an operation, and they did that together with the CEO of the Minerals Development Authority, Hannah Bisiu, who joined them in that brave work over there. So far, they have arrested 4 Chinese nationals who were mining along the Jimmy and Subin rivers. You know that per our laws, foreigners are not allowed to even engage in small-scale mining. It is reserved for Ghanaians. So it is breaking the law with impunity that we find these 4 Chinese nationals who were mining along the Subin and Jimmy rivers. When you look at the drone footages we are seeing an area that has been destroyed, forest vegetation close to about 10 football fields destroyed so far, and pollution of the 2 rivers that I have mentioned. So far, they have arrested the 4 Chinese nationals. They've been identified and they are being processed for court. 11 excavators have been seized so far. They have also seized 4 pump-action guns, brand new ones, that were being used to protect that illegal mining activity.
Thank you very much, Erastus, for this update. We'll surely be following up on this development and bring you up to date on the fight against Galamsey, which has become a very threatening situation for not just you, for every Ghanaian in the country. Now, moving on, protesters and security forces clashed on Friday in Togo's capital, Lomé, over recent constitutional reforms that critics say could cement President Faure Gnassingbé's long-standing grip on power. Footage circulated on social media appeared to show abuses by security forces during the unrest. President Gnassingbé, who has ruled Togo since 2005 following the death of his father, was sworn in this May as president of the Council of Ministers, a powerful position with no official term limits. Under the new restructure, he can be re-elected by Parliament indefinitely. Opposition leaders have denounced the reforms as a constitutional coup, warning that they erode democratic principles and institutional checks. Meanwhile, the Africa Development Council is urging the United Nations, African Union and ECOWAS to immediately intervene and call the Togolese authorities to order following reports of state-led violence against civilians. In a statement issued in its secretariat in Accra, the council condemned what it called a dastardly act by the Togolese leadership and warned that those responsible could eventually be tried before the International Criminal Court. The council is also calling on Africans across the globe to stand in solidarity with the people of Togo as they navigate what it describes as a destructive and devastating political crisis. We are joined on Zoom by the president of the Africa Development Council, Engineer Dr. Bright Atuaku, to give us more update on where they stand on this particular happening. And Doc, from your perspective and from your release, does it look like Togo's new constitution or a reform or a power grab? It's kind of a power grab in disguise from where you sit. And how do you describe what is happening in Togo now? Dr. William, can you please unmute so that we can, Dr. Bright, so that we can have this conversation?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
And my greetings to your viewers across the globe. What is happening in Togo now is very, very catastrophic. And in fact, we draw the attention of all the international bodies to descend on Togo and call the authority of Togo to order. Leadership should be for the people and by the people. In fact, it does not matter who leads and how long you lead if you are leading and you are leading for the people and by the people. As we speak, the resources of this Togo land are in the hands of the foreigners. Unlike Burkina Faso, that immediately military take over, the people of Burkina have owned their own natural resources. But Togo, the economy is in the hand of the France, and other colonial masters. And the people are saying, enough is enough. You are to lead the people, not to impose yourself upon them. And unfortunately, and to our surprise, we do not hear anything from international community condemning the leadership of Togo. If it were to be elsewhere, where the natural resources reside in the hands of external forces, you see these people campaign against the leadership. But now that the natural resources in Togo is in the hands of external ones, and the people are suppressed, the cost of living in that country is nothing to write home about.
Dr. Sogbe, I want to get from you, Dr. Sogbe, I want to get from you how credible are the torture allegations and who will be held accountable, basically.
Thank you very much. We can all see from the footage, and we have reporters down there who can, relate information, and we can all see it. And as we are saying, the leadership of Togo must bear in mind that they are not above the law and that International Criminal Court of Justice will deal with them.
We've seen footages of unrest on the street. Why are the Togolese youth risking everything to protest despite these brutal crackdowns?
See, it's like if you are hungry, and a hungry man is a hungry man, and they prefer dying by the barrel of gun than suffocated to death. The economy of that country is nothing to write home about. So they have to come down to make sure the right thing is done. That is exactly what they are doing. They are sacrificing their body for the restoration of integrity, liberation to that land, the Togo land. That is why we are calling on all across the globe, especially African descent, to add their voice and action. They should go on demonstration across all continents in favor of these young and old men in Togo. Enough is enough. Togo must have their natural resources in their hand and not in the hand of France.
Okay, Dr. Sugbe, I want to get from you, since 2022, what does the media blackout say about the government's fear of possibly truth?
As we can all see, since 2022, the leadership of Togo banned demonstration. And there have been a total media blackout on Togo. Now, the people of that land say, no, enough is enough. Whether no media coverage or no, or they will prefer to die in the dark and liberate their natural resources, the integrity of their land, and protect the future of Togo from Nyase Yagdeman's family dynasty.
Finally, is Togo shifting from ECOWAS to a military-led alliance? And what does that mean for the ECOWAS region from where you sit?
As it is now, Togo leadership is still part of ECOWAS. It is rather the citizenry of this country who are saying enough is enough for this suppression and family dynasty. Enough is enough for high cost of living. Enough is enough for their economy residing in the hands of their colonizers. And unfortunately, the leadership has released, the military onto the street, killing them left, right, and center. So as it is, the Togolese government is still, not a military government and is within the ECOWAS, limit. The only thing we are saying is that ECOWAS, especially all countries bordering Togo, must be careful and intervene swiftly, or else this may spill into other countries bordering Togo.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Bright Achusogbe, for giving us an update on that. We'll be following up in what is happening in Togo and bring you insights on subsequent bulletins. Now let's come back to Ghana, where tertiary students have been urged to conduct more innovative related research and share findings with government to promote development. Vice President Professor Nana Ajiman, who said this at the 58th Special Congregation of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, was hopeful that knowledge will lead to the establishment of solution-based companies and industries and enhance Ghana's global standing and competitiveness in the world of research.
The government places a high premium on academic freedom because it promotes university operations and ensures smooth functioning of governing councils and management. I want to assure you that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is firmly committed to empowering university councils and management to perform their statutory duties without undue political interference. Otumfuo Chancellor, please permit me to add that the government's non-interference policy means that universities will continue to be held to high standards. The Ministry of Education, through the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, will continue to partner with institutions to ensure that they continue to comply with the regulations, policies, and standards, and that governing councils operate within provisions of the statutes and acts that govern university operations. Thus, the ministry will intervene for compliance, but not interfere unduly with legitimate processes and operations of universities.
She also assured the Mahama-led administration will not interfere unduly in the affairs of public universities, but rather empower their councils and management to carry out their statutory responsibilities.
The government places a high premium on academic freedom because it promotes university operations and ensures smooth functioning of governing councils and management. I want to assure you that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is firmly committed to empowering university councils and management to perform their statutory duties without undue political interference. Otumfuo Chancellor, please permit me to add that the government's non-interference policy means that universities will continue to be held to high standards. The Ministry of Education, through the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, will continue to partner with institutions to ensure that they continue to comply with the regulations, policies, and standards, and that governing councils operate within provisions of the statutes and acts that govern university operations. Thus, the ministry will intervene for compliance but not interfere unduly with legitimate processes and operations of universities.
Still staying on education, the Member of Parliament for Ashaman, Nugi, has called on Ghanaian youth to pursue education relentlessly, regardless of economic barriers. His comment came after completing a PhD in procurement and supply chain management at KNUST. He stated that poverty should not prevent individuals from advancing academically and that educational attainment is key to national development. Nugi urged young people in his constituency and across the country to remain committed to lifelong learning and self-development.
I mean, the academic ladder, you are able to climb to get to this stage. You can only be happy for how far God has brought you. And I'm very much
We'll bring you that story shortly, but before then we take a short commercial break. We have more news for you after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to JoyNews Room. Now to more stories. A retired U.S. Army veteran who returned home to fight poverty through education has been named overall winner at the 2025 JoyNews Impact Makers Awards. Through his NGO Fafali organization, Raymond Senyo Amezado supports over 4,000 children each year with after-school learning, STEM, sports, and scholarships, boosting enrollment and producing Ghana's top female golfer. There is more in this following report.
2025 Joy Impact Award, the overall winner is Mr. Raymond Senyo Amezado.
So ladies and gentlemen, let's be on our feet, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a night of celebration, emotion, and inspiration, where stories of selflessness took center stage and ordinary individuals were honored for their extraordinary impact. The 2025 JoyNews Impact Makers Awards lit up the night with shared hope for a better Ghana. Raymond Senyo Amezado emerged as the overall winner, drawing tears, applause, and admiration from an audience that had just witnessed the power of one man's commitment to community transformation.
It was good, sometimes we don't need a validation, but we need a platform to project our work. So it feels good to be awarded the best impact maker in Ghana. It's a huge success. Thank you.
Do you have any initiatives in the pipeline?
Yeah, actually, the Fafali girls team has been selected to represent Ghana and the whole of West Africa in the next upcoming Street Child World Cup in Mexico. That's next year. We'll be going there. Also, some of our community members will be going to the festival 26 in Buxton, America, and we have other projects coming up.
Can you name some of the projects coming up?
Well, you know, if you come to in Volta region, we just opened a library in the Koviaji Electra area, and we are about to push our initiative out there. And the last time we were there, the minister of the Volta regional minister was there to help us launch the library. Now we want to take all the projects that we have in Accra, we want to take it to the Volta region so that we can also push our impact there. But if you want to help Fafali, which is much needed, you can go to our website at fafaliorganization.org. We are on social media. I myself am on LinkedIn, Raymond Senyo Amazado.
The 2025 edition of the JoyNews Impact Makers Awards proved it isn't just a ceremony, but a platform of national recognition for people who often work in silence. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Na Momolate, who was the special guest, lauded the Multimedia Group company for putting the spotlight on individuals who represent the best of humanity. She said such platforms will continue to inspire countless others to make a difference.
Let me use the opportunity to congratulate all the recipients of tonight's award, especially the overall winner. I just am overjoyed. I just want to say thank you for the remarkable work that you are doing in all the areas across Ghana. There are some of you who are yet to be recognized, but this great initiative by Multimedia gives you the opportunity to keep going. And like we heard from most of the recipients, it is not just about being recognized and, hyped, but it is about the passion and the heart with which they have done the work over the years. And by the grace of God, they get recognized.
General Manager of JoyNews, Fifi Kumsen, was thrilled by the extraordinary impact made by this year's finalists.
This year, the stories are no less inspiring. We are recognizing impact in women's financial empowerment, inclusive education, hybrid learning, innovations, environmental awareness, and more. These are individuals doing extraordinary things with minimal resources but maximum heart.
From community health advocates to education champions, this year's 10 impact makers each told a story that stirred the soul and reignited belief in grassroots change.
Yes, congratulations to all the winners of the various categories. We are glad to have here joining us in studio. I'm sure all of you have heard his name when it comes to the impact makers. William Akumbag. William Akumbag himself is an educator. He won in the education category and he's also a creative director who has advocated for thousands of students and teachers with quality learning resources. His action packs and creative art textbooks endorsed by the Upper West Regional Education Office have filled critical curriculum gaps. His self-teaching guides have made creative art accessible to educators and students across Ghana. His work is inspired by years spent supporting vulnerable children. William funds his program through the Ricasso, Ghana, Willie Give Art, and local educational bodies. Profit from his creative ventures are reinvested into community development, creating a sustainable model that blends education, enterprise, and impact. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome William Akumbag into the studio. William, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. How was the feeling when you were identified by the Impact Makers Awards and also you receiving this recognition? How has it been for you?
It felt very great. And it still feels very great.
I like that. Now tell us, what has been the inspiration behind you venturing specifically in education, and let us understand what has been the work so far.
Growing up as a child, and from where I come from, I struggled to educate myself. From the tender age, even though my parents were caring and supporting. supportive. But as you know, if ends doesn't meet well, definitely you might not be able to do certain things. And so I struggle to take care of myself. And what I went through, I told myself that one day, if God gives me the skill and the resources, I will give back to society. I will kind of also rescue or support those who would have otherwise also gone through what I went through.
Let's understand the creative art textbooks. How is it modeled? And you got a support by the Educational Directorate. How's it been?
Yeah, it's very massive, the response, the users' response. I get calls from across many parts of Ghana asking for the textbooks. And actually, I am a gifted artist.
Okay.
The creative artist, I mean the visual artist. And so, based on that talent, I even did visual art in the Boko Secondary School. I remember when I was in the basic school level, I won some, awards.
Okay.
Even at the National Theatre, I came there. I represented my region, and I won an award there, and so many other creative-related awards that I won. And then growing up, after my junior high school, okay, I was encouraged to do the visual art, and I did it in the Boko.
It's reflected in the outcome of your project.
Good. So, based on that, after some time, when I started working,
yes,
I took passion to teach children the art. And so, wherever that I worked, I used my break time and free office periods to volunteer my teaching in some schools. And yeah, so I realized that when I taught in a particular school and I moved, I needed to explore various environments. And then when I leave a particular school to go and assist another school, I see that teachers will be tracing up for my notes that I give to the children. They will ignore the books. Excuse me, fellow authors, I'm not trying to be kind of, but of course, they will kind of look for my notes that I give to the children to teach. It was there I said I could utter. But then I had started coaching children and taking teachers through how to teach the creative art. And I can assure you, even up to date, excuse me to say, most public and private schools do not have creative art teachers.
Okay.
And so that is how the idea came. So I came out with various innovations. And my book, I call it the self-teaching textbook, because the content is the chronological nature of the content. You don't need, there's nothing that you need to be explained to. The book takes care of all of that, and then you move on smoothly in the teaching of the creative arts.
You've really been recognized by JoyNews on this particular project. And what is the vision now, and what kind of support do you need to advance your project?
Are you talking of this particular project or all the projects that I do?
How many projects are you working on, and what kind of support do you need? I know you have a lot, as I said. Now, so just bring us to the key one, basically.
Okay, currently,
yes,
my hybrid school in Wa, where I integrate children with special needs, slow learners, and the regular children into an environment, giving them inclusive education that recognizes inclusivity, innovations, and then teamwork. There is this Royal Castle Ghana, that is my NGO, it's a local-based NGO. I am implementing a project known as the Scholarship Scheme for Needy Children, SNCC. And so my SNCC, the Royal Castle Ghana, collaborates with Willie Gibb College of Art and Technology, which is the school I established, in delivering free education to these needy children. And these needy children, the target is orphans. And so right now, I am able to admit some children within the Wa municipality. My target is to establish a boarding facility so that I can rope or I'll extend the program to benefit children coming from far to rich communities, so that the tentacles will be expanded to benefit those who actually need it. And mostly these people are found in the far to rich communities. And I have a lot of them that I have in the list, but I cannot bring them to benefit from the facility because of the lack of boarding facility.
So viewers, as you can see, or you've heard basically from Williams, certainly if you have any kind of support, as Joy Media House, we identified the heroes, and I can tell you the works that Williams have been doing for quite some time now has been greatly tremendous in impacting education in the up north. William, before we go, I want to, we're having a conversation before we started the interview, and I want to understand, how has the reception been, the calls you've received after you were announced winner yesterday?
Oh, very, very, very massive. A lot of people are happy, and that my effort has been recognized. Those close to me who saw her, I toiled. You give out your lunch and all of that, and you stress up your sleep and other ways of stressing up to ensure that you impact other people. They were very grateful that that sweat has been recognized, and hoping for a brighter future in my innovations and interventions.
Once again, congratulations, Williams, and that is Williams Akumbag, winner of the JoyNews Impact Makers in the educational category. Yes, so like we said, we'll give you the best, and the best is always from the JoyNews channel. Now, moving on, the Member of Parliament for Ashaman and Nugi has called on Ghanaian youth to pursue education relentlessly, regardless of economic barriers. There's more in the story.
I mean, the academic ladder, you are able to climb to get to this stage. You can only be happy for how far God has brought you, and I'm very much appreciative to all and sundry who participated or who played a role in achieving this feat. I'm so much happy that today, at long last, Nugi has a PhD. Well, education has no limit. No matter the situation, no matter where you find yourself, you must be able to propel and educate yourself to achieve certain height. Even as an MP, I'm still, doing a lot in the educational sector. And so I therefore...
I apologize for the sound there. Now, moving on, still on education, the administrator of West End International School at Galamsey in the Gao South municipality has issued a strong warning to basic education certificate examination BEC graduates against the misuse of social media. Dakoa Ajikum Fin urged the students to focus on educational content while they await their results instead of engaging in harmful online trends.
She gave the advice during the school's 9th graduation ceremony, which also marked its 20th anniversary. Mrs. Ajikum Fin emphasized that digital space can be a powerful tool if used wisely.
I advise them to concentrate on their books and not on social media. Social media is a very good platform where you can learn a lot of things, but also there's a bad aspect of it where people show lifestyle that's look flashy and all, but they are even hungry. They are hungry, they are starving, they don't even know what they are about. So I advise children to concentrate on the best part of social media, on the educational part of social media, and also concentrate on their books and the reason why they're in school.
Also addressing the gathering was the headmaster of the school, Isaac Obing-Inin, who encouraged the 40 graduates to remain disciplined, stay focused on the academic journey, and avoid negative peer pressure.
We are encouraging them, or we are advising them that when they move forward or they move ahead to SHS, they shouldn't forsake the good advice we give them here. And there too, it is very likely they are going to get more advice. What they have to do is they should heed to advice given to them by their teachers. They shouldn't relax on their hours. They should study very hard so that they achieve their aims in life.
Outgoing and incoming prefects of the school also shared their thoughts with JoyNews.
Everything about the school is great. The compound, everywhere, just a nice school. And I recommend everybody should come to the school because everything about it is great. Every single thing.
We are very disciplined, so I'm sure that whatever they've been taught here, they are going to practice it wherever they are going, any SHS they are going. And I would like to congratulate all of them. They've done their best, and I know they are going to pass with flying colors.
The ceremony was attended by parents, teachers, and alumni who praised the school's consistent commitment to academic excellence and character development.
Coming up next is business. Now to our first business story. The Greater Accra chairman of the Association of Ghanaian Industries, Chonam Akpelu, is urging increased support for small and medium-sized enterprises. He made the call during an interview with Joy Business at the IES Impact Experience event, emphasizing the critical role SMEs play in Ghana's economic development.
Impact Experience is a platform to sharpen skills, expand vision, and position business for growth and formalization. Speaking to Joy Business, Chonam Akpelu stressed the need for enterprises to be supported to attract funding and also create jobs.
Formalizing businesses in Ghana, for example, require a lot. The entire business environment is very harsh to SMEs especially. You are required to comply with several regulatory requirements and also pay several fees and duties and taxes and so on. And so a lot of SMEs would rather prefer to remain informal because that way they're able to keep their money and just run as it is. Another thing is that there's an enormous lack of education and capacity building for our SMEs to appreciate the significance of transforming their businesses to a more formalized businesses. So that is why programs like these are very essential for businesses because we need to build a capacity.
President of the Young Investor Network, Joshua Mensah, said the informal sector should be given more opportunity.
This is the AES Impact Experience where we focus on training the informal sector businesses. We believe that informal sector businesses are the main engine growth of this economy. So when they are being formalized, they can contribute immensely to the economy. So with the help with DCI, we are able to do training for the informal sector. We train almost 400 informal sector businesses.
The event was under the theme From Skills to Scale Up, Formalization of the Informal Sector.
In another development, MP for Atuaku South, Dr. Kinsley Ajiman, has urged President John Mahama to halt the planned hikes, that is 15% VAT hike on non-life insurance and 6% levies on all non-motor insurance policies in compliance with the VAT Act 2023, Act 1107. The Ghana Revenue Authority announced a 15% VAT on non-life insurance premiums effective July 1st, 2025.
Governments will have to generate funds. Governments will have to look at revenue. It's a good thing. There's no two ways about that. But one of the canons of taxation is that it should not be an imposition that will increase the sufferings of your people. So the government is introduced from 1st of July or is imposing on the Ghanaian consumer of insurance products and services, the non-life, and within non-life, every insurance apart from life. And for purposes of this imposition, the government has added motor. So imposing this means that entrepreneur, that Ghanaian entrepreneur that went into insurance business is likely to be out of business because premiums will not come as expected because most people will shy away from insurance, especially the compulsory aspect of it. Now, when they are out of business, it means that unemployment is going to increase. And largely, majority of general insurance insurers are Ghanaian owned. Majority are Ghanaian owned. So I'm appealing to His Excellency that this imposition of tax will affect the Ghanaian people, Ghanaian entrepreneurs, and Ghanaian consumers. If you work the industry, figures that are available clearly indicates that for the year 2024, the industry generated general insurance premium of about 5 billion thereabout. Out of this, motor was about 2 billion. So the taxable one is about 3 billion. Fine, it is good. If you're a finance minister and you see these figures, you may want to quickly go and do what? Tax, because it's an easy way of generating revenue. So if you apply the 21% to the 3 billion, if the figures are right, then the government is expecting about 600 or so million every year. It is good. But it's going to cost a lot on the demand side or the demand curve of insurance. People are not going to patronize it. We have a penetration rate of less than 2%. Even when there's no imposition, it is less than 2%. If there's an imposition, it means that the demand side is going to be impacted. And that will cause a lot of the things that I have discussed. So my appeal to the government is that you can't tax for the Ghanaian to be out of business or for the Ghanaian to be unemployed. You can't tax so that an essential component of the financial service that provides a lot of vanguard, that provides a lot of protection, that provides a lot of anchor for your financial services industry will be impacted negatively.
There are heightened calls for the private sector and the government to take a critical look at investing heavily in Ghana's local seed production industry. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector, particularly scientists, observe a lasting gap in the adoption and upscaling of diverse locally developed seeds. Despite the release of some early seeds by research institutions, the large-scale production of these certified local seeds has seen low interest from the private sector, with imminent threats to food security. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at a maiden Researchers and Investors Summit in Agriculture held in Kumasi and has filed this report.
It's made significant strides in local seed production, varying from cereals and leguminous crops to root tubers. Research institutions like the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research continue to lead the charge in producing improved indigenous seeds for farmer adoption. Speaking at the maiden Researchers Investors Summit in Agriculture, Director of the Crops Research Institute, Professor Maxo Dakwa-Asante, emphasized the urgent need for investment and transformation of Ghana's seed production sector.
So the current situation for the legumes and the cereals is okay. At least we are able to produce the breeder seed and the foundation seed. The bottleneck again is the certified seed part. The same problem. We don't get proper business people, and people should forgive me. We get people who are just interested in government policy. We need people with deep pockets to take it as a big industry. It's a huge industry around the world, but particularly for vegetable seed, that one we are far behind. But now we are beginning to get varieties, and producing vegetable seed is a lot of work. So the same call, we need people with money.
The 2025 Researchers and Investors Summit assembled industry experts, academic professionals and journalists in Ghana's agriculture sector to dialogue on building resilience in the sector.
That's all for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Winston Taki. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.